There he is. There he is. There he goes, running from me. He just pulled in. There he is, Damon Clark. He pulled in and ran from me. He saw me and he said, nope, not facing him. So the order of this video is going to be a little bit backwards. Let me explain and give some backstory if you're new. That cop right there is Damon Clark with the Deland Police Department. Many of you have asked in comments and even emails, why have I talked to so many people at this department except for him, who is the subject of the internal investigation? See the pinned comment for links to the related videos so you can get the whole backstory. I feel like I've said this 100 times, but if you're new, you got to know. Officers at this department made some disturbing allegations about Damon Clark. Some of these allegations allegedly involve juveniles at a high school and female victims of certain crimes, domestic type crimes and incidents. Deeper investigation by us revealed a long history and a pattern of this type of behavior. Behavior that some say seems predatory, creepy, possibly dangerous. The other videos will catch you up to speed. We've talked to lots of administration. We've done a lot. And this department, administration of this department, has attempted to hinder us in trying to make the public aware of this internal investigation that they themselves did that is public record. This whole story has spiraled to a crazy place where they've now banned the First Amendment. Today's video, which we're going to get to after this, was intended to point out and prove that administration in the city here, they are absolutely flat out lying to the public. And I'm going to prove it to you. They're misleading. But anyway, many of you asked, why haven't I talked to Clark? And I've responded that I would love to, but somehow I have never encountered him. Now, that's either coincidental or he's tried very hard to avoid me. Like most of you, I don't believe in coincidence. And like we saw today, he had pulled into the parking lot. He was coming in to where he is now, saw me standing there, turned around and left. Later, he came back when the coast seemed clear. But in the rear of this department, they've got this safety barrier to protect them from the citizens. They've got a perimeter of signs that say you can't go beyond this point. So you kind of have to talk from a distance, unless you encounter the rare scenario where one of them is big enough to come speak to you. But this is going to be my first encounter with Clark. And I've always said I don't expect him to be brave enough to speak. It seems he'll only speak to the weak. Or the weak in his mind, anyway. There he is, right there. There he is, right there. There's Clark right there. It's Clark. Clark who's got nothing to say. You're not hanging out at the high school, are you? Better not be hanging out at the high school. Hey, don't let him hang out at the high school, please. As you saw, Damon Clark is not big enough to speak for himself. Not to my surprise. That's exactly what I expected. Now to the right there, Sergeant Marino. He's talking about property lines, because I'm standing actually just outside, or actually a bit outside of their restricted area signs, which are kind of confusing. They're not super clear back there, but what they keep saying is that's city property, you can't be there. That's not, you can be on city property, you can be on government property, unless it's posted restricted area, which a lot of this area back here is, which is why I'm way over here, I'm not over there. But then behind me is the post office, as you've seen in a previous video. They try to tell me that that's private property as well, which we know that's not the case, and the postal property is not marked as private or no trespassing or restricted or anything like that. I'm always very careful to make sure I stay within the boundaries of all laws. Matter of fact, in this incident here, a postal worker did come out and speak to me and basically said that it's also not clear to him what parts, if any, of the property of the post office is considered restricted, and they are working on trying to make that clear. But in the meantime, I'm okay. So says the postal employee. The whole reason I even told you that whole thing right there was because it always amazes me that this department, I've never seen it anywhere else, the lengths they go through to try to protect themselves from the public. This place is like a fortress. They keep themselves well protected from having to face genuine, valid, but hard to answer questions from the public they're intended to serve. I mean, they're going crazy with it. For a public department that is meant to serve the public, they sure are making it pretty anti-public. Anyway, so I've talked to many officers with this department, They talk to me in person. They contact me. Many of them contact me via email. I'm told often that I'm appreciated. And I've yet to encounter one that says they're a fan of Mr. Clark here. So what caught my eye here is that vehicle to the left is someone chatting it up with Clark. He's got the passenger window down, having a conversation with that person and that car to the left. That didn't make much sense. With everything I've been told by so many officers here, that didn't make any sense until I put the pieces together. It appears that is a brand new officer in training. I should probably throw in that that's a female officer in training who probably doesn't know the history of Clark. So I'm hanging out here just waiting to see if by some chance Clark will actually get out and have a conversation with someone that's not weaker than him, and or maybe get the opportunity to hand a copy of the internal investigation report to that new officer in training, if she cares to read it. If not, it is what it is. You got the information, do with it what you please. You can also get your free and fast copy from me if you email me, read it for yourself, and make your own determination. As is my point. That's just what I want everybody to have the chance to do. But so far, all we've seen from Clark is that smug grin. I'm sure most of you picked up on it. He knows why I'm here. He knows why I've been here. He knows he brought me here. He knows he's been avoiding me. He knows what he's done. He knows that you know. And in response, all he's got is that smug look for the public. To me, that kind of says, yep, there's nothing you can do about it. I did what I did. I'm doing what I'm doing. And there's nothing the public can do about it. Other officers here have no idea why he's so protected by administration. But the initial point of today's video was, for one, to show how this department is misleading the public and diverting the attention from things that matter, like this right here, this which started it all. And I don't want this to be forgotten. I don't want this to take the back seat. Transparency and public awareness has been the goal, and to show how far this department goes to hinder that public awareness. So in making this video, I just happened to encounter him for the first time, which is the reason for the backwards order of the video, but it worked out perfectly, as it helps highlight one of my main points. As you know, the Deland Police Department in Florida has been attempting to ban the First Amendment of the Constitution by saying, you can't record here, you can't record here. Now, it's been a process to getting to this point. The last 2 months, events over the last 2 months, videos on this channel will show you what's led up to this point. But what they're doing, they're using this guy saying, hey, we don't want you recording in the lobby because you, the public, the people, deserve privacy when you come in here. So that's gaslighting, that's misleading the public, that's flat out lying to the public for so many reasons. And I'm going to show you a couple of the simplest reasons to prove they are absolutely misleading and lying to the public through the media.
Reporting an increase in harassment from First Amendment auditors.
A lot of residents come to the Deland Police Department here and walk into that lobby through those doors to speak to an officer about a crime or file a report. Now, while they might be taken into another room to talk about the exact details, they first have to tell the receptionist why they're here. Now, lately, the police say these First Amendment auditors have been walking in after those residents and recording that initial conversation, many of which is posted online.
Despite this ongoing issue, Reed says this vote was in efforts to protect people wanting to report a crime anonymously.
Through the mainstream media, saying that, hey, people like me, they know why I'm really here. They know why I'm here. I'm looking for transparency and accountability on very specific things, and they know this. But they're saying that I am here to violate your privacy, the citizens' privacy, right? They're saying that I'm coming in here, I'm recording citizens as they come in here, or discuss their private business, whatever it is. But I'm going to show you a couple of examples why that's absolutely false. So let's say you come in here, right? This is first person. You come in here, you've got something sensitive you want to talk about. You come in here through another set of unconstitutional signs right here, and you come to this front window right here, and you say, let's just say there's people in here, right? Not even with cameras, but just other people. You would come to this window. Normally there would be a person sitting there. Somebody would be sitting there, or you'd push that button and you'd say, hey, I need to discuss something I don't feel comfortable talking about in front of the other people that may be in here, right? They would say, okay, just a minute. They would come around, or somebody would come in, and they would lead you within this same lobby. You just came in these doors. They would lead you this way, beyond another unconstitutional sign that you paid for. You also have to pay for the removal. They will lead you to this room, a private conference room, right? No access. It's a locked door. This is for privacy. So if you have something sensitive to talk about, you wouldn't say, hey, there's a camera in here, I don't want to talk about it. You would say, hey, there's people in here, I don't want to talk about it. And regardless, there's cameras right there, right? So they would lead you to this privacy. This is still misleading, because when you come in here and you report something and the officer comes in here and talks to you, guess what's rolling in here? There's a body cam rolling. They're writing reports, they're recording. All of that is public record. So they are misleading you by telling you you have any sort of privacy when dealing with the police. You do not. You absolutely have no privacy. When you discuss that private matter in there, that video and all the reports are public record. Anybody can get it. So not that anyone is seeking to go after, regular citizens' information, but they're misleading you. They're saying, hey, we can't do this because you deserve privacy. That's a big thing. This has made national news, right? National news, because it's absurd that a police department will violate the First Amendment like this. All over the country, people are talking about this. And now that they've done this, now they have all sorts of people coming in here just to record, with no purpose but to just record to test this. So good job, Deland PD, or administration at Deland PD. You brought that on yourself. But let's also not forget, this is not about privacy. And it's important, I don't want to forget why this started. This began here with this internal investigation on one of their own officers that is still employed here, Corporal and Canine Handler Damon Clark. This Deland Police Department internal investigation report is about allegations made by fellow officers here about Damon Clark. And some of these allegations are disturbing. They are allegations. We've made that very, very clear. Some of them involve juveniles. Some involve female victims of different types of crimes. And they're disturbing. And this report right here, which you can email me and get a free copy of, or you can jump through hoops and maybe eventually get a public record copy from the Deland Police Department. I'll send it to you quicker. A lot of questions arose from this. Questions that I came here and started speaking to administration about, asking, hey, some of these things allegedly took place at a local high school. I found out they didn't notify the high school. I notified the school board and the high school. They were disturbed that they hadn't heard of this yet. They should have been notified. And it went on from there, right? I had lots and lots of questions about this. This is what I've been looking into. This is kind of getting forgotten because they're bringing national attention now for absurd things like this. It's gone that far. So I don't want this forgotten, because this was the initial point. And they know that's the initial point. He's back behind the glass watching me on the monitor right there. Wave to him, I guess. We'll walk up there, he'll walk away, watch. This is what they do every time. As soon as I walk up, they walk away. It's like I turned on the lights or something. And, cockroaches in a room, you turn the light on every time. But I don't want this forgotten. So what I'm talking about, there's a monitor up there in that corner of that wall for these cameras here, so they always watch and see what I'm doing in here. And as soon as I walk up, they take off. I don't know. I don't know why they do that. But anyway, back to the point. This is important that we don't forget this, because this was the point. And all along, it was them trying to hinder me from making as much of the public aware as I possibly could. That's where this all, just spiraled out of control. But this has kind of taken a back seat, because they're making news all over the country now, because it's not every day a police department and a city openly lets the mainstream media know, hey, we're willing to violate constitutional rights, and we are willing to cost the taxpayers lots and lots of money in lawsuits. But it's important we don't forget about this. Damon Clark, this still stands. This is still an issue. This is still, for me, the issue that started it all. They've just added several issues to it. Email me if you want that.